practice 13's in the books. Solid day out there today, I think. Go back and watch the tape, but a couple of big plays. Gave up a big run. Boosie had a big run in a 4-minute drill at the end. Overall, ups and downs, both sides of the ball. But again, kids are working their tails off, putting good work in. So that's it. Questions?
You decide on a format for Saturday's scrimmage?
Maybe. What do you think? Should we? We can get a 4-minute maybe. Possibly. A little 4-minute drill. Might finish with it.
What do you expect to see if by this time of spring practice, the final week, especially from the new guys coming in, both the transfers and the early enrollees?
I just expect guys to get better every day. I mean, everybody's at a different level. Everybody's got different knowledge, different physical talents. But I think, it's going to be how we finish this last week. We'll see what film looked like today, and we got to go out. We'll be in Shells on Thursday and then Saturday scrimmage. So obviously want to stay healthy, but the guys have done a pretty good job of taking care of each other. But I want to just see guys keep stacking days and more consistency out of everybody, period.
You mentioned the ups and downs. What are some specifics that are still maybe lagging behind at this point in camp?
There's nothing. It's just really the consistency, I think. I mean, it's, you got, a linebacker missed a tackle, I think, near the end. Again, I'll see the video, see exactly what happened. And again, it was a live period, too, a live 4-minute at the end, which is kind of a run period for the most part. But missed a tackle, and Boosie takes it to the house on the first play of the 4-minute. That's not good. But we got guys in position, just got to finish the play. And, going from thud to live, whatever, said it was live. So usually guys get juiced up and they know it's live.
Has Sean Lee picked up where he left off at the end of last season this spring? Just what kind of spring do you feel like he's?
I think Sean Lee's had an excellent spring. It really has. He actually even got a little safety work last Thursday. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But after going back and watching the tape and watching him, he can play corner. He can play safety. He's very versatile. He's smart, and he's a football player. So Sean's had an excellent spring.
What led into the decision to maybe rotate him between those positions?
Just because I think we got we got some good corners. Just looking for depth at the safety spot. If we got in a jam, it's just like find out who can do it, who's that next guy in. And then all of a sudden the guys that are maybe playing behind Josh all of a sudden start to go, I better step it up. So it's competition. Throw a guy in there, and all of a sudden he does well with minimal reps. Makes you look in the mirror and say, better get my stuff going.
Where have you seen Mason grow the most this spring?
Oh gosh, he's just confident with where he's going with the ball. Like you watch Pascal, and he's hard to beat. He's hard to stop. The ball's coming out of his hands. He's not taking sacks. He's making good decisions. But he just knows where to go with the ball, and he's got a quick release and makes plays.
I know you often say you guys go over the depth chart every day and move it, every staff meeting. Is there anybody who, from the start of spring to now, you would say has made some of the biggest jumps on the depth chart or just on the team?
You hope you don't have that many jumps on the depth chart, but there's guys that are pressing to be in the ones, I guess. And I'd say there's some battles at corner right now to find out who that third guy, that fourth guy is, but I can't name anybody. Like, there's not some major jumps on the depth chart because I think we got them set right, but they're competing. There's obviously competition on the offensive line, but Keelan and Kendall Stanley battling at the guard spot. Seen some good things the last few days out of him. The tight ends are battling. I think Max Hunt's had a great spring. Carson was back today after being bumped up, nicked up a little bit, but I can't say there's a. Maybe Bop, I think. I think he's done a nice job, maybe, So we got really 3 tailbacks I feel good about.
Where does Bryce Yates maybe fit into the equation as far as what you're seeing out of him in that deep receivers room? A lot of guys maybe in similar spots trying to earn a role. We saw him with some more big
Bryce is doing a great job. He's starting in the slot right now with CJ being out a little bit, so he's. But again, he could have been the starter going in. He's smart, runs detailed routes. He knows what to do. And there's competition. Rodney Dunbar's done some nice things the last couple of days. Big, tall, monster receiver that makes some catches over the middle. So I've been happy. Again, there's guys moving. It's just not drastic, Chris, like you'd like. I mean, it's no drastic. It's like, I think from top to bottom, I think we've got great depth, across, and I say that, stay healthy, of course, but, I feel good with the depth we've got and guys competing, to get playing time.
You obviously have 2 new starters at linebacker this year. How do you feel about that group as a whole right now?
I feel really deep. I feel like we got 6, 7 guys that can play for us at that linebacker spot, which, last year I think we had 4 going into the season maybe, and really maybe 3. Would have had 4 with Jeremiah, but I feel like we've got guys. Bruton has done a nice job. Matter of fact, if I had to name a guy, it might be Davin Bruton, who's made some strides and become a better football player playing outside and Mike. He's doing a little bit of both. So Davin might be one of those guys that that might be one of those faster movers up the depth chart. But I feel good, Amanda, with those guys.
What was Boosie improved from the end of last season?
Well, obviously, his knowledge had better grown, right? I mean, he's got to be a smarter player a year ago, and I don't have to have him take a test to figure that out. He just, obviously, when you have more knowledge, you have more confidence. When you play with more confidence, you're going to play faster and more physical. So, he was a good player a year ago. I'd probably say the biggest improvement is the weight he put on. So he's over 190, and he's a big back that can explode like he did today.
You had like 3 backs with at least 60 carries last year. I mean, some of that was due to Dez missing time and guys being hurt. I mean, I don't know, do you lean one way or the other? Workhorse back with 180 carries and everybody else splits, or you prefer kind of a little bit more of a committee, 60, 75 carries for?
Well, you want to keep those guys fresh. I don't want Boosie to get worn up. Obviously, Boosie's our starter. Lavelle, Bop. I mean, those guys are all competing. And then Damon Ferguson was here last Thursday watching practice, and he looks good too. He hadn't taken a snap yet, but he's one of those few freshmen that's not here on campus yet. So we're excited about his future and what he's going to do when he gets here. So, we play that by ear. How they, are they banged up? Are they healthy? Or and how many snaps you want to get them? So that's a game plan thing.
You said he broke a big run in a 4-minute drill. I'm just kind of curious. Are you the kind of coach who would say to him afterward, "Hey, next time, stop at the 1. Take a knee"?
Were you watching from inside, or did you hear me talk afterwards? No doubt about it. He needs to get down there and then milk the clock a little bit more, no doubt. We started to drill over, so we got more reps in. But again, I think he knew that, but I think he wanted to score anyway. So
You walked in the middle of a conversation about the Ed Conway Award winners for most improved player on offense and defense. Yourself aside, who would you say on offense is the most improved player this spring?
That's a great question. I would say, obviously we've had a lot of great guys. I think everybody's really done a great job of stepping up and, kind of playing into their role. But, a couple guys that stand out, I mean, I think of guys like Tony Kinsler. He's a guy that we had last year. He's kind of new to the offense. Just trying to get through that process and kind of trying to learn the plays, all that kind of stuff. He struggled a little bit at first, but he started to really pick it up. And he's one of those guys where if he knows what he's doing, he can play at a really high level and really fast. So, I think he's really a notable one. You think of guys like, Boosie. He's a dog. We've known he's a dog for a while, so I wouldn't really say improved because he's just done such a great job already. One that really sticks out to me too is Bop, Saquon Smith. He's kind of come on. He's been a really great pass catcher out of the backfield, and he's done a really great job of just hitting it up in there, and doing a great job of trusting the offensive line as well. Offensive line's done a great job this spring too, and I really think we've done a great job. Coach Darvo has really done a great job coaching those guys up, and we've improved up front for sure.
How do you feel where do you feel like you most improved from last spring when you came into now?
It's another great question. I think the game slowed down a little bit for me for sure. I think especially compared to last spring, coming in, head was kind of spinning, just kind of trying to learn the offense and, just trying to play as fast as I can and just get the ball out. And, now kind of really being able to dissect the defense. We've just watching film, staying in and seeing what they're doing and just kind of identifying the different kind of looks that we're getting from them. It's only going to help us and help the offense be better. And I think it's helped me just to kind of, be able to know where to go with the football kind of before we snap the ball. And I think that's just a big thing for me is, kind of trying to have an answer for everything. And, I think that's something that I've improved on for sure.
Lisa, how have you seen the offense from the guys up front to yourself to the tailback, so on and so forth, just as a unit offensively, how have you seen things coalesce over the last couple weeks this spring?
I think we've looked really good, and obviously there's always room to improve, and there's always always room to grow. But I think of terms in terms of last year, in comparison, and it's hard for me to judge, obviously, because it was my first spring ball. I was still kind of getting my feet wet. But I just think we've been really playing at a high level, and I think that's kudos to our defense too. Giving us a great look, helping us just to get better every single day. And I know that we're helping them get better every single day too. So I think that's just a big thing for us to just keep growing. We got a lot of young guys, and I think that's going to ultimately help us because when they get a grasp of the offense, they're doing a really great job of that. I think we're going to be able to play at a really high level and be really explosive for sure.
You mentioned, last year you were still getting your feet wet, but this time, second year around, not even just in practice, but in life on campus, how have you just sort of settled in, become more comfortable?
Absolutely. I think daily life is a little bit different for me now, and I think it makes it a lot easier kind of having that year under my belt. Just obviously whether it's to going to class or kind of just hanging out with the guys, and also just trying to be a leader on and off the field, like you said. That's so big for me in order for us to be successful, in my opinion. I think as the quarterback, you got to be a leader of your football team, and just trying to make sure that our guys are happy, and just trying to build relationships with them. I think is the biggest thing for me too, and I think we've done a great job of that, especially with the offensive guys. We're hanging out all the time. Whether that's going over installs or just kind of hanging out. Just spending time together. I think that's such a big thing for us to be successful. Is kind of have that relationship on and off the field for sure.
We've seen the blur stickers on so many of the guys. First of all, does that hype you up seeing all of those? And then is there one or two that really stand out that they earned that for?
Absolutely. I think there's only so much room on the helmets, and I think Blue's entire helmet is covered, and he definitely has more. So it's great to think about, and great to see with those guys kind of getting that recognition. And I think that's so cool what the defensive guys do, and we hate to have those because obviously those are takeaways for them, which means we're turning the ball over, which isn't a good deal. But to be able to reward our guys, when they go out and make a play, I think that's special for us. And we took it from the defense, but I think we've changed it into our own way a little bit. And I think, like you said, it's just it's a great way to honor those guys and the work that they put in, and then obviously just going out and making a play. Like I said, there's not many that really stick out to me. Just being able to go out and allow those guys to make a play and give them a chance and let those guys be dudes. I think that's such a great thing for our offense, and I think it's a testament to the work that we put in the offseason, just trusting those guys to go out and make a play.
Have you turned the ball over at all this spring?
A little bit, yeah, a little too much for my liking, and just things that we can clean up. Some days that just things aren't going your way, and you got things that you need to work on, and it's all stuff that's fixable. So you got to take the good with the bad, and just learn from it and get better for sure.
Can you pinpoint any of those specifics? Was it more your mistakes? Was it the defense making good plays, or?
Obviously the defense has made a couple of really great plays, and there's one play I remember, Josh G. Kind of made a diving catch on an interception, so gotta give him his props when he earns it, and same thing for all the other guys that have made plays. But those are also things that I kind of expect myself to clean up and not do, and so those are things that we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna learn from. We're gonna get better, and just make sure it doesn't happen when the season starts for sure.
What do you hope to get out of Saturday, individually as a team?
That's a great question too. Obviously just want to be efficient, make sure our guys are, lining up in the right spots, and, we're being efficient as an offense, not getting behind the sticks. It's a big thing for us, staying ahead of the sticks and, like I said, just being efficient, and then obviously just getting the ball to our playmakers and let them, kind of put on a show. I think we got some really talented skill players, and then obviously our offensive line has really done a really great job too. So, just allowing for those guys to showcase what they can do, and then, when the ball is in my hands, just get it to our guys and let them go make plays.
How has your relationship with Coach Bell changed since you came a year ago to now?
Oh, that's a great question too. Yeah, Coach Bell and I have a really great relationship, and he's always working. He's always trying to fix things and make things better for the offense. And I think that's great. To have a guy who's always looking for ways to become better and trying to better himself and also better the team as a unit. I think that's so great. And him and I really see eye to eye on a lot of things, and it's nice to kind of have that relationship with your offensive coordinator to where he can kind of get into me a little bit, and you just take it and you learn from it, and he just has your best interests in mind. And like I said, I think that's just a testament to how close we've become since I've gotten here, and even before that too, when he was recruiting me, just the honesty and the relationship status that we've had is, I think it's very important for our success, and I think that's just going to continue to grow for sure.
Coach Narduzzi said you were maybe getting some work at safety a little bit last week. Have you been bouncing back and forth, and how's that been going?
That was something new that the coaches brought up to me. Last week I was able to get a few reps. I actually got an interception from a safety rep I got, so that was a good thing. I was excited about that, but just wherever they need me at, being able to know the defense and just know my role in the defense, so I feel like that would be a good thing as well if I could play safety.
Because of the way this defense works, do the safeties get more opportunities for interceptions than the corners, do you think?
I feel like our safety room, you're able to roam a little bit more free. I feel like they let their ball players make plays on the ball, and that's what makes our defense so good in the safety position. So definitely just giving more ability to be a ball player at the safety room.
What are some of the things that the coaches tried to tell you they wanted you to work on and improve on from your freshman year to this spring?
Just being a more complete corner. Being a freshman last year, there's so much more that I got to work on in all aspects, whether that's being able to cover guys better, being a leader on our defense going into my second year, knowing the system, and just overall just learning the defense and becoming a complete cornerback.
Coach Narduzzi mentioned part of that move might be because the cornerback room is so deep. I mean, what have you just seen from some of the other guys in that room?
I've seen a lot of growth out of all our guys from the start of spring. I've seen people gain their confidence, whether that's Kanye being a transfer or Rayon being a transfer as well, and even Zion Ferguson, just those guys being comfortable making plays. The whole room's just pushing each other to be the best corner that they could be, so I feel like that's a great thing to have on our team and in that defensive room.
John, what was this offseason like for you? I guess what made you certain in your mind that you wanted to continue your career here?
It's always been that I want to be a Pitt man when I graduate. I just love everything that we have here, the culture, the coaches, and everything. So ultimately, just coming back for another season just to win the ACC championship. I know that's our biggest goal around here. We want to win the ACC championship. I want to continue to come in and just get the coaching from our coaches. We got some of the better coaches, so just being able to come in every day and gain that knowledge, that's a big thing for me.
So can you tell us just about how the offense is looking? Any receivers in particular giving you a battle? Just how smooth does the offense look just going up against it every day?
Oh, the offense looks great. I feel like we got a lot of explosive, great young receivers. Even just Mason hitting on all his aspects. I feel like coming from his first year, he looks way more sharp. Not that he wasn't before, but just he looks way more sharp. He's consistent in his throws, and he makes it tough on us. I know like a lot of those receivers are transferred that we got. Malik, he's a deep threat, so that's been a good challenge going against him, iron sharp as iron. So, and just a lot of the young receivers as well. They're explosive and make a lot of plays, so I can't wait to see those guys this year.
Just on the matter of the question of the offseason, you were a freshman,
Yes.
made big plays. I mean, like definitely by the end of the season, other schools knew who you were. I mean, what was it like going through kind of that part of the process? I'm sure you or people around you are getting lots of calls and things like that. I mean, how did you sort of navigate that through December and January?
Really just having a blind eye to it all. I definitely had a lot of talks with my parents and myself just figuring out what I wanted to do, but at the end of the day, I knew this was what's best for me. All the other stuff was really irrelevant. I don't want to say irrelevant, but it was irrelevant. I know I had to come in and focus, get ready for the next season coming up to be able to prepare with me and my team, just what I got to do in the off season, which is whether that's working, putting in work on the field, learning the defense better, watching film. So really just taking that first season and building off it to be a better me for this year, really.
Outside of yourself, in this spring, who have you seen on defense you would say has made the biggest improvement over the course of the spring?
It's a whole bunch of guys, but I want to start in the corner room. Definitely want to say Zion Ferguson because he was here with me last year. I think he has the most interceptions in the corner room, so that's a good thing for him. I feel like he looks very good on defense. And then Josh G as well. He made a lot of interceptions in that safety position. So I feel like we've been hitting on a lot of different defensive positions. I feel like the defense is coming together with a lot of new guys. So just continually seeing who's working in and who's getting ready for their position to be made.